In the quiet hills of Galilee, under skies painted with heavenly hues, walked a man whose name would echo through history, Jesus Christ. Born in a humble manger and raised among simple folk, Jesus did not amass wealth, nor did he command armies. Yet, his life transformed the world. How? It was not only through divine authority but also through the habits he practiced daily, habits so powerful they reshaped hearts, shifted empires, and brought heaven close to earth. This is the story of those 7 transformative habits that defined his life, taught his disciples, and now call out to us today. From the time he was a young boy, Jesus developed the first of his powerful habits, solitude with God. At 12, he was found in the temple, discussing scriptures with scholars. But as he grew, his relationship with the Father deepened far beyond study. Long before sunrise, while others still slept, Jesus would retreat to the wilderness or climb hills to pray. He wasn't escaping the world, he was seeking strength for it. In the silence of nature, away from distraction, he connected with the Creator of all. This wasn't occasional, it was daily. Whether before feeding 5,000 or walking on water, he first sought solitude. Even in Gethsemane, hours before his crucifixion, he knelt alone. In solitude, he found clarity, courage, and peace. It was in this stillness that his mission was reaffirmed, not by the voices of the crowd, but by the whisper of his Father. The second habit Jesus practiced was intentional compassion. His miracles were not performances, they were acts of deep, personal love. He touched the leper, healed the blind beggar, and wept at Lazarus's tomb. He didn't just care from a distance, he moved toward pain. In a society that marginalized the sick, the sinful, and the forgotten, Jesus made it a habit to reach out. Once, when a woman suffering for 12 years touched his robe in desperation, he didn't scold her or move on. He stopped, turned, and called her, "Daughter." It was his habit to see the unseen, to hear the unheard. His compassion wasn't impulsive, it was intentional. Each day, he walked with eyes wide open to suffering and a heart ready to act. His third habit was teaching truth with authority. Unlike the teachers of his time, Jesus spoke with conviction that pierced the soul. Whether on mountaintops or by the sea, he simplified deep truths into parables: the Good Samaritan, the lost sheep, the prodigal son. He taught not just to inform minds, but to transform hearts. Crowds gathered not only for miracles but to hear words that felt alive. Even his enemies marveled, saying, "No one ever spoke like this man." But his habit of teaching wasn't limited to public moments. Around campfires with his disciples or while breaking bread in homes, Jesus continually taught. He never withheld wisdom from those who sought it. Teaching was his habit because truth was his heartbeat, and he longed for others to know the Father as he did. The fourth powerful habit was radical obedience. From baptism in the Jordan to the agony of the cross, Jesus submitted fully to the will of God. Even when the path was painful, even when the cost was his life, he obeyed. In the wilderness, after fasting 40 days, Satan tempted him with shortcuts, power, fame, and comfort. Yet Jesus responded with unwavering obedience. It is written. When Peter urged him to avoid suffering, he rebuked the idea, choosing obedience over self-preservation. At the Mount of Olives, sweating blood under pressure no man had known, he still prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." Obedience wasn't easy for Jesus, but it was habitual. It guided his every step. And because of it, salvation came to mankind. The fifth habit was choosing community over isolation. Though Jesus often retreated alone to pray, he never lived in isolation. He called 12 disciples to walk alongside him, fishermen, tax collectors, zealots. They were flawed, impulsive, and at times faithless. Yet Jesus poured into them daily. He laughed with them, rebuked them, taught them, and trusted them with his mission. He showed that transformation happens in relationship. Even in his most vulnerable moment, he asked 3 of his disciples to stay and pray with him. Jesus didn't need community to survive, he chose it to model a better way. He washed their feet, knowing Judas would betray him, and he broke bread with Peter, knowing denial was near. His habit of embracing imperfect people built the church itself, not of bricks, but of brotherhood. The 6th habit was living with divine purpose. Jesus never drifted. Every word he spoke, every step he took was aligned with a higher calling. At 12, he told Mary and Joseph, "Did you not know I must be about my Father's business?" That purpose never wavered. Whether healing a bleeding woman or confronting religious hypocrisy, he did it all in light of the cross. His schedule was never ruled by convenience or comfort, but by calling. While others chased popularity, he walked away from the crowd to stay aligned with his mission. "I came to seek and to save the lost," he declared, and that goal shaped his entire life. He didn't waste time. He didn't chase applause. He lived on assignment, and everything he did flowed from that divine focus. Finally, the 7th habit of Jesus was forgiveness, limitless and unconditional. Hanging on a Roman cross, torn and bleeding, he looked at his executioners and said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." His entire ministry was built on forgiving sinners. The woman caught in adultery, the tax collector in the tree, the thief on the cross beside him. Forgiveness wasn't occasional, it was continual. It wasn't earned, it was gifted. Even when wronged, misunderstood, or abandoned, Jesus forgave. He taught his disciples to forgive, 70 times 7, not as a number, but a lifestyle. Forgiveness was his habit, not because others deserved it, but because love demanded it. And through his forgiveness, the gates of grace opened wide for all humanity. These 7 habits, solitude with God, intentional compassion, teaching truth, radical obedience, community, divine purpose, and limitless forgiveness, were not merely actions Jesus performed. They were the very rhythms of his life. They shaped how he saw people, how he made decisions, how he responded to pain. They are not distant relics of a historical figure but living practices we are called to embody. Jesus didn't come just to die for us, he came to show us how to live. As the sun set over the hills of Jerusalem and the veil of the temple was torn, it wasn't just a moment of death, it was the birth of a movement. Those who followed Jesus began adopting his habits, living with the same fire, the same grace. And today, across centuries and continents, his habits still call out to us: rise early to pray. See the hurting, speak the truth, obey when it costs, build with others, live with purpose, and forgive, even when it breaks you. Because to follow Jesus is not only to believe in him, it is to walk as he walked.